Hello, and welcome to We Live for Saturday, your favorite college football podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike, and with me, as always, is your other co-host, John. John, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good. I did a bunch of yard work, mowed the lawn this morning. It was a little cooler than yesterday, so it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't too
Oh,
bad.
man, it
Oh,
was a bathtub yesterday. It was a
yeah.
sauna more, I guess, is a better way to put it. It was, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to this weekend. We're going to get some real fall weather, especially Sunday and Monday. It's supposed to be the high of like 68, and
Really?
I'm freaking for it,
Oh,
man.
I'm so about that.
Yeah.
I'm all about that life.
Yeah.
Love that. You rarely get that this early.
No, 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 not at this time in August. And I know it's going to go back up, I think, next week into like the mid 70s, which I'm still okay with. Like that's still
Yeah,
kind of
that's
unusual.
appropriate.
Yes.
I just don't want it to be like 90.
No. Well,
I'm done with that.
when I'm like, I'm going to be going to the Great Minnesota Get Together this next week, otherwise known as the Minnesota State Fair. It is rated the best state fair in the country, and anyone who has a
The
problem with
best
that.
and most popular.
That's right. And it's the truth. We're not just saying it. We're not blowing smoke. It's the
No,
real
it's they
deal.
literally they win the attendance record every year. They even beat Texas, and Texas is quite a state fair.
And Texas is like another week longer, and we still do better. So
Yeah, it's pretty special. Hey, when are you going?
we haven't really decided, but we're gonna go during the week. We're gonna go early because it's just beat the crowds and stuff like that, and we just
Okay.
But I think next year we're planning on going to see some concerts and whatnot. But this year I don't think
I'm going tomorrow to see Atmosphere.
No way. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Love
So
that.
I will be at the fair tomorrow.
Cool. All right. All
Yeah.
right. We'll
Yeah.
talk about it.
And dude, Slug, not that this is a hip hop podcast, it isn't, but Slug had some cryptic tweets and like sounds like he's thinking about hanging it up,
Well,
which would be a huge loss to the underground hip hop scene for sure.
yeah, it'd be wild. I mean, he's been on the scene though for so long.
And also, to be fair, they also had mainstream success.
Yeah.
They had a couple albums that broke through around 2010, 2012-ish that were like legit mainstream, like wide successes. So it wasn't just, but like the stuff that guys,
You and
I sound so pretentious, but I'm like, the albums I love the most are not the ones that made it big.
It's true. Same.
The same
Same.
way.
Yeah, you and I were listening to that all the time back in the day. So
Yeah. I didn't mind when they cashed in. I was like, good for them. They definitely were like, I'm gonna do the mainstream sound thing and break through, and it was like, great, good for you.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
Nobody knows who we're talking about.
No, they don't. We've lost the whole. We've lost. People are turning the channel right now. Yeah, I am ready to talk some football, John. We have football in less than a week.
Yeah, it's wild.
We have, and not just any football, Big Ten football. Because we are recording this on Friday,
August 22nd.
August 22nd. And on Thursday, August 28th, the Big Ten football season begins with several teams in action.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I'm ready. The long off season is over almost.
Well, and it's just like it's been, as always now, I guess, well, now it's the norm, I should say. It's a tumultuous offseason. Every offseason is crazy, and everyone's angry and upset with everybody. And we're going to talk about some of that stuff here today, things that have changed, I think, for the better, for college football as a whole. And it's about time some of these changes happen. But should we segue into that kind of stuff right now? Or do you have anything
else let's talk about the overall arc of the episode, which is this is our Big Ten football preseason predictions 2025. So we're putting it on the line. John and I we each went through separately and picked every single Big Ten game for the whole year. And yes, I know we're going to be wrong about some stuff, and there's no way to predict injuries and, blah, blah, blah. But like, this gives you an idea of where we see these teams, snapshot right now. And we're going to be right about a lot of stuff, and we're going to be wrong about a lot of stuff.
Although last year we were right about more stuff than what people gave us credit for.
I mean, like we crushed it not pat ourselves in the back too hard, but we crushed it last year with.
Yeah, we did.
It's like kind of a shame it was our first year on YouTube, because like I'm glad our old school listeners know, but it's like, you know, our newer listeners are like we could be lying as far as I'm concerned. We'll have to take our words for it. But you don't have to take our words for it going forward, because we're going to give you some of our biggest predictions in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
You win totals out of conference and in conference for every Big Ten team and their order of finish.
Well, I'm excited. It was hard. It was hard.
So hard. It was so hard. And I'm not saying I did a great job. And like, the hardest part was picking the upsets.
Yeah.
That was hard. And like, you could argue I didn't pick enough upsets at times, but I tried my best to pick a decent amount here and there. But I also wanted to reflect like what I actually think of these teams and which teams I think are better.
Yeah.
And like, all things being equal, you know, whom do I think is the better squad? So anyway, we'll see. We'll have this. We'll see, and we'll find out.
Yeah, and feel free to comment. Let us know what we got wrong, or what you think we got wrong, and what your thoughts on your team.
Yeah.
You know.
More importantly, you put your predictions there in the comments.
Yeah.
I want to see those. Don't just call us out when we're wrong. I want to know what you're right about right now before ball kicks off on Thursday. I want to know We Live for Saturday listener. I want to know what you think is going to happen this year.
That's right. Everyone's going 12-0 somehow. That's what's, we're all.
I mean, that's the beauty of August, man. I love August. I love August because it is the endless summer, but it ends, and then you start playing ball and things change. Mm-hmm. It's like the old. Was it Mike Tyson who said everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that kind of thing. But first, before we get into these our Big Ten predictions, John, we have some news. Some news out of SEC country. Big news.
Huge. Yeah.
The SEC conference. This will be the last year the SEC has its teams play 8 conference games each. They have bowed to the rest of college football. They understand, apparently. Well, let's be real. They just got offered some more money, and that's what happened. But
I'm gonna say they bowed down to the Big Ten. They got bullied by the Big Ten.
But they got bullied by they got legit bullied by the Big Ten here, and the Big Ten was like, "You guys are afraid to play as many conference games as we're playing," because it inflated their rankings, and will continue to inflate their rankings this season because it's not for 2025.
Yep.
So that'll still be unfortunately. Excuse me. Unfortunately, that'll still be a reality this season. But starting next year, the Big Ten will finally be on an even playing field with the SEC, playing 9 conference games. And John, sometimes it feels good to win those off the field victories, and this one feels like a big victory.
I mean, it is. I think it's a big victory for everybody, not just not just the Big Ten. And look, the Big Ten did pressure them, and I think won out because the Big Ten was not going to agree to any kind of idea or plan with the college football playoff until the SEC agreed to at least playing 9 conference games. And they caved. They finally did it, which is long overdue. I mean, this should have happened years ago.
Long overdue.
So
I mean, the November layup has been such an embarrassment.
Oh my God.
To be playing those quasi scrimmages with FCS teams in the penultimate week of the season, it just makes a mockery of the sport. Well, and it also allows you to rest your starters and get healthier than the teams who have to play real games, and that's not fair.
Well, and that late in the season, like, you want to schedule those games. If they wanted to be at 8 games, and still it wouldn't be fair, but like if they wanted to play those games all in the beginning part of the season, like, fine. I would have a little bit more understanding of that. It's still padding the stats, but like when you're scheduling that late in the season so some of your guys can get healthy, and like get some other guys experience and whatnot. And like, that's
it's just
man.
an extra bye week.
Yeah.
An extra bye week. And it's not, it wasn't fair.
No,
it was not fair when everyone else is playing the gauntlet of these huge, difficult conference schedules.
Yeah.
You know, the SEC is taking a week off. So,
well, let's not forget the ACC as well. But
the ACC too. Yeah, man. But I don't want to kick people when they're down.
It's true. Well, the ACC, as we know it, probably isn't going to be around much longer. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, what are your favorite ACC memories? Remember when the ACC, man, it's been a fall from grace for the ACC. Yeah. Remember like 20 years ago, the ACC did awesome in recruiting rankings.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like,
yep.
There was talk that the ACC and the SEC were going to be the two powers.
Yep.
Not the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously that's not how it went.
No.
But yeah, big fall for the ACC. But I think with everyone else going to 9 conference games, the ACC probably will too.
Probably inevitably, I think, because look, let's put it this way, the Big 12, which doesn't have any top tier, helmet schools at this point in time,
right,
still has the courage to go play 9 games.
Yeah.
And I think the ACC still has a couple helmet schools and they should be going to 9. And even after that, I think they should be going to 9. I just think that's the way it should go. I think it's fair. I think if you are able to get all of these conferences on board, with like what the SEC is doing, they're having 3 rivals, so 3 protected rivals for each team, which I love that. And they're also like required to play a 10th Power 4 team, which there's Power 2 in our opinion, but they have to play a Big 10 opponent, a Big 12 opponent, or an ACC opponent, or Notre Dame. Hopefully nobody schedules Notre Dame. Let's just take them out of the equation, but I know that won't happen.
People are going to always schedule Notre Dame.
For now.
You say that, man. I'm not on it. I think you and I think it's going to be, I think in 40 years, you're going to be like, anytime now. Walls are closing in on the Irish.
I mean, I do think it. Obviously, I know and understand that there is a possibility that it might not happen. I get that. I mean, and it's true. Like, I mean, the college football world and the powers that be are making it so and allowing them to get away with what they've gotten away with forever.
That's what I'm saying. They're being enabled every step of the way. They make carve-outs for Notre Dame to make it. I mean, at this point, Notre Dame gets to play a weaker strength of schedule than the SEC or the Big 10, but they still get to pretend like they're on the same footing somehow when they're playing multiple service academies every year. And service academies, folks, it's not just that it's a lesser level of football. They have weight limits. Weight limits.
Yeah,
they're player. I mean, if you can't beat a team that's not allowed to be big in football, like, come on, those aren't meaningful contests against a team like Notre Dame.
Well,
whether they shouldn't be.
What is interesting about this whole thing of what's being talked about, which we'll get into the college football playoff as well, which a little bit more into certain aspects of it, is that they are going to be supposedly focusing more on strength of record. So when they're picking these teams, now, mind you, these metrics, they have refused to publish the actual details,
which I call BS.
Yep. And it's funny how, those metrics, or it was released or whatever right before that the SEC agreed to 9 conference games, which helps me believe that those metrics, of course, still favor the SEC.
Of course,
but here's the thing regarding Notre Dame, though, is that there probably will be a 9-3 SEC team that will get favored to go into the college football playoff over a 10-2 Notre Dame. That may happen. I'm not saying it will, but there could be a time or two where that does, or a big.
Well, yeah, depending on who Notre Dame loses to.
Yeah. So like now that Notre Dame is scheduling Clemson at the beginning of the season for the next 12 years, well, and if they lose USC as a marquee game, who are they going to fill these spots with? This is what I've been saying about Notre Dame for a long time.
Their strength of schedule will fall off. Yeah.
Yes.
No, they're going to fill the spots with the Big 12.
Yep.
That's what they're going to have to do.
And so the
Big 12 will schedule them.
Oh yeah, of course, and
opinion.
as they should.
Yeah.
If they have the option, of course they should. It's exposure that the Big 12 needs. But what I think is
And the
gonna
media. Oh, go on. Sorry.
no, what well the last thing here is just I think what's gonna happen when it comes to Notre Dame is if these metrics truly do take into consideration strength of record over strength of schedule, then Notre Dame could be screwing themselves, and possibly that's the way that if they do get knocked out of the playoff, not to say it'll happen, I still think it's pretty unlikely that they will, but that would be what will force them into having to join a conferences because they can't create the strength of schedule every year to compete. Now, do I think that's necessarily going to happen? Is there a high probability? No, but is there a probability? Yes. That's where I'm at.
I love it. I love it. This is all good. I just go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask you I was just, you can follow up with all that, but also I wanted to know what your thoughts are on should the Big Ten mirror what the SEC is doing? Should we have 3 protected rivalries and schedule a 10th Power 4 game?
I mean, I actually think the Big Ten system is better because it reflects actual rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody has a different amount of rivalries based on how many rivals they have. I think it's is it Iowa that has 3?
Yeah.
Iowa has 3 protected.
Yep.
Minnesota has 2 protected.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ohio State has 1 protected. Penn State has 0 protected.
Mm-hmm.
Because that reflects the actual state of actual rivalries.
True.
And I think that the SEC forcing everyone to have 3 is going to force some rivalries where there aren't any.
True.
Kind of thing. And I think that's always awkward. Mm-hmm. And is just not that cool. So I think the Big Ten model of trying to reflect your actual rivals instead of trying to make everyone say they have 3 rivals makes more sense as far as that goes. But I do applaud the move to 9 games and hey, you want to prove that, you want to prove that how big and bad your best teams are. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Let's see them go through a 9-game conference schedule and not have a layup in November like the Big 10 and Big 12 already do. Mm-hmm. And let's see how they do. And we'll see how many come through unscathed or relatively unscathed. And I bet you it's going to be fewer teams than you think.
Yeah, I agree. And the only thing that I would like about this whole 10th P4, required thing, that the SEC is doing regarding the Big Ten is it would be kind of cool to and even with the SEC, it'd be cool to reignite some of these old rivalries that were split up. I would like to see Nebraska and Oklahoma played every year. I would like to see Mizzou and Kansas played every year. Let's
Indiana, Kentucky.
I think stuff like that would be really cool for some of these conferences to do that. It would be great for the sport. It'd be great for fans to see those kinds of things. If you're gonna force all of these conferences to have to play 10 Power 4 whatever games and 9 conference games plus another game on that tier, I think why not then? Iowa is doing it with Iowa State.
Yeah.
And so I know the fans
of Nebraska. Play your geographic rivals. No, I love it. I think it's a great thing to do. I think it's the smart thing to do it as often. You don't have to do it every year necessarily, but you should be doing it as often as you think you can. The Indiana Kentucky one came to mind because I had a text from former guest host and friend of the pod, Dom the Rev.
Mm-hmm. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and he was saying he was pumped.
Yeah,
as a lifelong Indiana fan, he was absolutely pumped at the prospect of going back and playing Kentucky because there's a lot of hate there.
Yep.
There's border hate. Border hate is real hate.
Oh yeah.
I know. You and I know we live not that far from the border.
Yeah, and from 2 of them that all 3 despise each other.
Yes, 2 of them. But we live close to the one that we hate the most.
Yes,
across from Wisconsin.
Yes.
So, yeah, border hate is real. Play your border rivals. I
Well,
think it's great.
And think about like Maryland finally having a real rivalry that if they played Virginia every year. Like
Yeah.
there's real hate there. Like
And
that would
hey,
be
maybe
awesome.
that would give each of those teams a winnable game too.
Yeah. So I don't think it's stupid. I mean, I know that
No?
this is all fans thinking of like really fun, cool stuff. And more than likely, the powers that be will not do what we think is great.
Yeah.
But that would be neat, And obviously, there's teams like Minnesota where, there wouldn't be an out of conference rival for consideration, but that's okay. Like I think then those
You
teams
just
like
play. Then you play who you
Yeah.
play interesting game. I mean, honestly, it's
Yeah.
kind of better that way because you can play
Yeah.
even more interesting games.
Yep.
In some ways, it's better. In other ways, it's not.
Yeah.
It's a trade off, just like anything
For sure.
else. But no, honestly, John, I don't think the Big Ten should mandate an out of conference power conference team opponent. I don't think they should, because we've talked, and we're going to talk today when we talk about these records a lot about how some of these athletic directors are putting their football coaches in a terrible position because they're rebuilding and they're trying to rebuild while playing tough out of conference schedules. No. When you rebuild, you need to play as many winnable games as you can out of conference, because you need to build up that momentum and get guys experience and get guys reps and build depth so that you can compete with the Ohio States of the world, and be ready for that. So I don't think, I don't think you should mandate. I mean, what do you think on that? You haven't really weighed in yet.
I mean, I'm not totally against it. I agree with you. I would like to see matchups. And again, this is all like an idealistic way of looking at it. Like where if you're going to do a crossover game, there has to be some similarities between the teams. Like, like if you're not going to put Purdue against Georgia, you would do like Purdue and Vanderbilt, or let's say like more of a mid-tier team like Iowa and Ole Miss or whatever. Like that would be cool. Like where there's like some real competitive games, you're not just throwing one team to the slaughter, every single year. Like I think that would be cool. I would like that. I think, it's still not, I don't like to have anything to do with the SEC, but like if that is what's coming, which I do think it probably is,
a Big Ten SEC challenge. Like,
do you think of the TV ratings?
For those of you who are audio only, my eyes are rolling like all the way into the back of my head. But the thought of being mandated to play an SEC team out of conference every year. Gross.
But it's the money in TV ratings, man. I'm not saying I want it, but like that's where it's coming from. And that it will bring in a lot of money and the ratings will be great overall.
Who's the Big 12 going to play out of conference after the ACC implodes?
I mean,
who are they going to play out of conference? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if the Big Ten and the SEC are playing each other,
well, then who's going to?
Who are they playing? Then they might as well go to 10 conference games.
And that's why there's a thing called a triumvirate. I think that one of the ADs or somebody coined the frame, commissioner. I don't know. That what's left of the SEC or ACC after it gets rated will combine with the Big 12 to make a third big conference or whatever, super conference. Like then
but then who do they play out of conference if they're the odd man out? You know what I mean?
I mean,
if
I think
there's three major conferences and two of them are playing each other, then
I know, I'm with you. There's problems. There's definitely problems to be solved. Now I do think that's kind of cool though, with why the idea of having like some of these old Big 12 or Big 10, play some old Big 12 teams or ACC teams playing some, SEC or Big 10 teams. Like I said, like Mizzou and Kansas would be awesome. Like I'd love to see that. That would be a great rivalry to bring back. Or if, Virginia doesn't get picked up by the SEC, it would be really cool to see Virginia and Maryland or things like that. Or, but we'll see. Yeah. I mean, obviously they got a lot of things to work out. Now obviously the fire, or like, I guess shots are going to be fired at the Big Ten if they don't mirror the SEC in this kind of schedule. What do you think? I mean, how does the Big Ten weather that?
I think the way I think you just make jokes like Signetti has.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, man. I think you say we're playing a 9-game gauntlet schedule and most of our teams are playing power conference teams out of conference.
Yeah.
And like, if you look, it's very few. If you look at the actual schedules, it's very few teams who aren't.
Yeah.
Indiana is, in the minority doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm not hating on them for it. I don't think they should be forced to adjust from that.
Yeah.
I don't. But, if we get to the point of a Big Ten SEC challenge, nobody will have a choice anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see, man. We'll see. Maybe they're all going to come together and figure something out, like we talked about, like bringing back old rivalries and then just kind of rotating between, the SEC, the Big Ten, and what will be the combined ACC, whatever's left, the leftovers of the ACC and Big 12.
Big CC.
The Big CC, yeah. Or the A12, I don't know.
The A12, oh, that's better. That's better. Yeah, let's do that. John, you definitely got the better of that.
Isn't it?
The A12.
Tell me if this is weird, but like I and this is totally me coming from as a Big Ten fan, because obviously every year you hear people always be like, they need to change their name. They need to change their name, which it's more than that, by the way. Anybody who isn't a Big Ten fan, like, you don't understand why it is continues to be the Big Ten. But like
the brand thing, you don't change a great brand. Looking at you, HBO.
Oh my God, right? But the Big 12 hasn't even been around that long. Like, so you know what?
No.
If anybody should change the name, it should be the Big 12. Like, let's be serious.
Yeah.
And honestly, the ACC with Cal and freaking Stanford in now, like, what is the Atlantic in there for? What is that even for?
Just the Coastal Conference.
Yeah, just call it the Coastal Conference.
Yeah, I like that.
That'd be great.
Conference. Yeah, that's great.
Or the PACC. I don't know. Like,
we should be advising them on this stuff.
We'll take care of the branding. You take care of everything else.
Yeah, you take care of nuts and bolts. And we'll be your idea people.
Anyway, so there's that. But yeah, should we move on to our other fantastic topic that we're so excited to talk about here?
Yeah, we're going to talk, and everyone be shocked. Put on your shock face. We're going to talk briefly about the college football media.
Mm-hmm.
So, John, you got into it on Twitter a little bit.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice and like understanding and have like a real conversation with this is not the first time either. Andy Staples from On3 with Andy and Ari, and I've gotten into it with Ari, and I've gotten into it with Andrew before too, but this went, the same direction it always inevitably ends up, which is I get emotional reactive responses, and they try to dunk
from them.
Yeah, from them. And they try to dunk on me by providing little to no real information. And inevitably, and I like to point out too, when I'm speaking with them or, tweeting back and forth with them, which is like, also like, why do you try to engage? Because they do this with a lot of people, is you see multiple examples of the people that are making pretty much the same argument I have been, and them providing little to no information and other people being able to provide information to their arguments. And so again, this is just another example of the media, and Andy is by no means alone in any of this. No. He was just the one that I had more direct conversation
Looking at
with.
you, Stu Mandel.
Yeah, and and Ross Dellinger and Brett McMurphy and like all these people that, and by at least I'm going to give Andy credit for at least engaging with me. Sure. It was a bit childish, but he did do something. Where when I've brought, not just me, again, there's hundreds of people out there, probably maybe more, that brought this information to light and have been calling them out for the last couple of weeks of what the SEC proposed for an expanded college football playoff. And as everyone knows, the Big Ten has been under fire this last week, especially or more, that for their 24-team playoff, that is just all it was just an idea, just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing if it would stick. It's not, hey, we're going to push this through. This is what we're going to make happen at this time.
And the media went bananas.
Nuts.
Went like all in, crushing the Big Ten, blah, 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 destroying the sanctity of the regular season. Which it would be. Yes. 24 teams is like a ridiculous idea. But then then something happened. And so I understood them going after the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I was totally like, yes, go get them. But then the SEC put out their own proposal.
Which is interesting, though, is because this proposal was brought up months before the Big Ten proposal, and it got little to no coverage.
Yeah, and how many teams was that, John?
64. Or no, sorry, 32. My bad.
I was like, whoa. I was like, is there a new thing? I'm looking through the show notes. I'm like, no, wait, is there something I missed?
I don't know
32 though, but 32. 32.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Did the SEC receive a firestorm of negative media backlash like the Big Ten did?
None.
No.
None whatsoever.
And why? Yeah. Why?
It was and it was funny because I provided the actual article which was put out by The Athletic that talked about this, that mentioned that, even though this was an article that was posted and recognized that it was the SEC prior to the Big Ten's release, that the SEC also floated this idea of 32 teams. So the Big Ten wasn't alone, but of course the Athletic didn't really talk about it when it happened. It was months prior, but I provided that to Andy, and he is now also on the College Football Inquirer with Ross Dellinger and Stephen Godfrey.
Yep.
And he said, and he, tagged them and said, I actually did speak out against it on this podcast, and I listened to it. So I hadn't, at that time when I was initially talking to him, I had not listened to it, but I did. And yes, technically Andy said, yeah, it's a bad idea, but that was it. And essentially, Ross Dellinger,
vitriol wasn't there for the SEC like it was for the Big Ten.
None.
Interesting.
Exactly. He said he made that one statement and was utterly silent for the rest of the interview. And Ross Dellinger was trying to just sidestep it the whole time. And I will give full credit to Stephen Godfrey, who was the one trying to hold their feet to the fire and was asking, why is it that the Big Ten is getting all of this fire when the SEC has gotten nothing for their 32 team proposal? And none of them would give a direct answer. And Godfrey didn't, he inevitably gave up, but he spent a good amount of time trying to be like, what's going on, guys? Why is it?
Why? And you know what it is?
Yeah.
It's, again, their laziness as pundits, and they like the narrative of SEC superiority, because then it's just fewer teams they have to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be like, all right, I'm going to pay attention to the top half of the SEC and Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State, Oregon, USC, Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame, call it a day.
Yep.
And that's all I have to do. And I'm just going to punch in and do my work, and I'm going to cover those teams a little bit, and everybody else can F off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, these guys are, I don't mean to, I just think they're lazy. I think they're lazy.
Oh, they are.
And they've been brainwashed themselves because they're part of a system that puts out this propaganda.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be a media shill for a conference without eventually believing your own BS.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it amazes me that a number of them, not all, most of them just ignore you. Me and multiple other people proposed and provided this information and being like, why aren't you making a big deal about this with the SEC, just the Big Ten? And none of them respond, for the most part. And which is probably the smart thing to do. But especially if you're an employer or you're under, you're expected to toe the line for the SEC and ESPN and whatnot. But it's also funny though, people like Andy or Ari or even Brett McMurphy get emotional and try to egg on the fans, which again, I do think some of it is planned because they know it's going to get clicks and it's going to get interaction and whatnot.
But I also think they resent the fans.
Oh, they do. Oh yeah, they do.
And they think they should be able to tell you what to think. They don't want you to think for yourself.
Exactly. And they're not used to that because I do think the narrative has been 20 plus years where whatever ESPN
been about 20 years
says goes.
Yeah.
And people did buy into it, but now we're seeing, we've already talked about multiple times with the transfer portal and NIL, that the playing field has been leveled, and now people are seeing it and being like, oh, all of this stuff that I've been told and all these years that I was made to believe that the SEC was this this dominant conference that had no rival in anywhere else in the college football. Like, that's not true. And
it's not true.
People are questioning it. And now people are pushing back, and the media hates it. Yep.
Because their jobs had gotten easy.
Yep.
Think of it like, and they're already resentful because they liked the 4-team playoff because then they only had to pay attention to 7 teams all year.
Yep.
And like, so they're already annoyed that they have to pay attention to more teams.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and it's like, it's such a contrast between the corporate media that's all lazy like that and like the independent media. Like our buddy Ty at the Solid Verbal is happy to go in depth on like all the teams.
Oh my God.
In the whole country.
Yeah.
Him and Dan. Like, and they do.
Yeah.
But like most pundits, they don't want to do that. They don't want that smoke. They don't want to have to care.
Yep.
Like they'll find a cute story of like a group of 6 team once in a while if they think that's plucky, if they think it's adorable, and they'll latch onto that and learn a little bit about that team. But for the most part, they just don't want to do that much homework. No. And they believe their own biases after all this time. And that's why this podcast exists, to be frank, because we got sick of, people pissing on our legs and telling us it was raining. And that's where we are with the college football media. And they're trying to hold on to an SEC superiority narrative when, and it bears repeating, the Big Ten conference teams have won the past 2 national titles and have dominated the postseason up and down the last 2 years. So, yeah. But yet there's still such institutional bias that the AP poll comes out and the SEC has 10 ranked teams to the Big Ten 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a joke. It's like no matter what happens on the field, the perceptions don't change and the attitudes don't shift. And the media still hasn't like wrapped their head around the like NIL and player movement and empowerment and how that's changed the dynamics of college football forever.
And nobody's believing anything now. For years, everyone has sworn by like Kelly Ford, rankings and whatnot.
Kelly Ford has jumped the shark.
Now he's on board just as much as they are. And people, and of course,
even Bill Connolly.
Yeah.
Even his rankings are super tainted now. It's weird. And it's like, he never used to do the SEC superiority thing at all. And then he started working at ESPN. But you know what? You know how I know they're scared and they're putting him back out in the world? Because Bill Connolly's been behind a paywall and they're taking him out from behind the paywall.
Wow.
And it's because they know they're losing the metrics argument.
Yep.
And they need to put out somebody out there with credibility that can promote their agenda a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and that's where this all comes down. What it all comes back to is the fact that there is so much going on in all of these metrics that they purposefully are refusing to explain to the public.
Right.
In the SEC shills, Pete Burns and Brett McMurphy and whatever, all the people we've previously mentioned, their voices are becoming louder and more repetitive on this subject because they're scared, because they know they're being called out. And so the only way they're trying to fight that is like, just keep repeating it until we all start believing it again. Yeah. So if I tell a lie enough times, people might start to believe it. And that's what they're doing. And it is a lie. For anybody out there who thinks otherwise, I'm sorry, but they are lying to you. I'm not saying every single piece of information or data that they present to you is false, but it is molded in their favor. So, and that's why they're not releasing the metrics of how they plan on doing the rankings for, whatever this next thing.
I mean, it's honestly the fact that you've got Oklahoma ranked when they went 6-7 and lost to Navy. But you don't get Iowa ranked. You don't get Minnesota ranked. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't get Washington ranked. You don't get USC ranked. You don't get.
Yeah.
So like, dude. But you know what? We'll see on the field.
Yeah.
We'll see on the field. And when Texas comes into the shoe, we'll see if Arch Manning's as good as Paul Feinbaum thinks he is. I have a feeling he's not right away.
Yeah. My one thing I will give Texas credit on is I have seen on Twitter a lot of Texas fans get in fights and hating the whole SEC, like,
Because they're not an
circle
SEC
jerk.
school. They know that. They know they'll never be accepted as a real SEC school.
And I don't think they want to be.
No, of course they don't. Would you?
It's Texas. No. But I also
Texas
love,
is like Notre Dame, dude. They almost went independent.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of hilarious watching Texas fight amongst the SEC fans and being like, we don't care about
you. Don't claim us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I actually love that.
Yeah. It's actually making me respect like Texas.
I mean, I feel like Oregon had a similar sentiment when they won the conference last year.
Yeah. Which is fine. That's
okay.
Great.
Yeah. It made it that much more enjoyable when Ohio State stomped them in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, Oregon, great team. Oregon fans love watching them.
Yep.
And they're very high up my rankings today as well.
Same. Yeah. Which we should get into.
Yeah, we should get into. Time is marching on. So John, this was a tough exercise.
Yeah.
Picking every single Big Ten game for the whole year in August. And here, caveat, everybody, there are going to be injuries. There are going to be other things we don't anticipate. Like these are not going to be correct, right? Yeah. Like there's no way it's like we hit them all on the nuts. Good job. Like that's not how this works. But it gives you an idea of where we think these teams are now. And we'll find out in the first month of the season who was right and who was wrong about stuff. And that's part of the fun. And we'll find out, and we'll probably be right about some things and wrong about other things. I already know, John, I can't change it now because we're in the middle of a podcast, but I already know where I screwed up.
Oh, yeah?
In the rankings. I do. I know who I screwed up with, and I'm going to apologize when we get there. Because I for sure underrated them.
Yeah.
And I was trying to just make all the games work, man. I was trying to make all the games work.
Man, and I'm sure I did too, man. I know we're gonna discuss one of these teams, and I'm gonna be like, why did I do that? Like, why did I say they were no?
And we'll say that. We'll express that to you where we're not sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. I think to build anticipation, should we start at 18 and go down to 1?
I think that's good.
Okay, cool. So at 18, I've got the Purdue Boilermakers. I've got them at 2-10, 0-9 in the Big Ten, with losses to Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio State, USC, Notre Dame, Northwestern, Rutgers, and Washington. Two things are true, John. I think Purdue is going to be improved this year.
Yeah.
I think some of these are going to be close games. I do. I think they're going to be a lot more competitive. But it's a whole new system. They got rated in the portal again. Barry Odom brought in like 70 guys. So like, could Purdue be better than expected and win a game or two in the conference? They could be, but it's really hard to project that right now.
Yeah.
Not knowing how all those pieces are going to fit. And frankly, just on paper, the rest of the conference has better rosters than Purdue.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, right now, I also have.
What'd you have them at?
I have them at 2-10 as well.
Okay.
But like I'm looking at their schedule, and I'm trying to convince myself of like what Big Ten team they could beat, and maybe by October 18th or October 25th, they could beat Northwestern or Rutgers, depending on like what's, whether they're lucky or whether there's like injuries going on playing.
Talk about that for a second. I need to grab something.
Yeah. So I mean, I know it's at Northwestern, and it's which I guess neither here nor there. It's in October, so I'm not too worried as far as like weather goes there, although that can obviously play in a factor at any point in time when you're on the Great Lakes. But I think Northwestern, with having so many issues on the offense, could be a factor if by that time, we're playing football for about a month and a half at this time. Has Barry Odom been able to find some cohesion within that team and in the locker room? And could they bite somebody? Could they get up and bite somebody? And could Northwestern or could Rutgers be those teams? I think it's a possibility. Yeah. Is it a strong possibility? No. But
what I don't like about the Northwestern game is that it's on the road.
I know, but I'm trying to look for something.
No, for sure. And I think talent wise,
Yeah.
Northwestern's in the ballpark, right?
Yeah.
Like Purdue should be able to compete with them.
Yeah.
I still am picking Northwestern to win.
Same.
But I think that Purdue can compete in that game and make it interesting.
Yeah.
Man, we'll see how good is Barry Odom have magic. And, my biggest concern, Purdue, is it's not that I don't like Devin Mockobee, but when you tell me that Devin Mockobee is going to be the focal point of your offense, like, he's a complimentary piece to me.
Yeah.
Like, he's a below average Big Ten running back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And you say that guy is going to be the bell cow.
Even though he has ran all over Minnesota twice, but.
Yeah, fair.
But overall.
I think a lot of that was blocking, man.
Yeah.
And poor linebacker play at the time.
And it was Jeff Brom.
And Jeff Brom, Purdue was a different beast.
Yes.
It was. So yeah, Boilermakers fans, I hope actually I don't like Purdue. I don't hope you prove me wrong. I actually like to see Purdue at the bottom of it in football because you guys always trash us in basketball and it bothers me. So you can have the hardwood, you can have the short pants season, but right now you're living in our house, Purdue fans, our house.
Love it. Yeah.
All right. At 17, John, I've got the Maryland Terrapins. 3-9, 0-9 in the Big Ten. Losses to Illinois, Wisconsin, Washington, Nebraska, UCLA, Indiana, Rutgers, Michigan, and Sparty. True Frosh quarterback. Could be good. Could be an upgrade on Billy Edwards. Honestly, he could be. That's totally possible. I don't see the line of scrimmage play. It's classic Mike Locksley.
Yeah.
And it's Mike Locksley, so I believe that he'll I also don't see it at receiver, but Mike Locksley, I trust enough at receiver. I believe Mike Locksley can pull out a couple receivers out of his back pocket when he needs them.
Yeah.
I don't believe he has the line of scrimmage players though. I think they, and they got raided in the portal again. And I think Maryland's in a tough spot, man.
Yeah, I agree. I have them at 3-9 as well. Maybe they can get somebody on later in the season like they did with USC last year, but I don't see it at this point in time. No, 3-9 is where I got them. And the same reasons. It's just line of scrimmage play. There's everybody on here is going to have a better offensive and defensive line. Maybe UCLA will be the only weak point, but they're on the road.
Yeah.
So.
All right, John, you ready for my big mistake?
Okay.
At number 16, I have the UCLA Bruins at 3-9, 1-8 in the Big Ten. Bruins fans, I'm telling you, I don't actually think it's going to be this bad. Okay, I don't. I think you're better than 3-9, but if you go through, it's hard. Look at the games I have you losing to. Utah, Indiana, Nebraska, Northwestern, Ohio State, Penn State, Sparty, Washington, USC. You might be favored against Northwestern. But that's the only game out of all those games you're probably favored in. Because I don't think they're favored against Aiden Childs and Michigan State.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, UCLA is going to have to pull off an upset or two to get to 5 wins. I think they do it. I think they do. But I don't know where to pick them, man. I just don't.
I have them at 5-7. I think that I think UNL, the win wins against.
That's where I wanted to have them.
Yeah. UNLV, New Mexico. I do have them beating, obviously, Maryland. And I have them beating Northwestern.
Okay, you've got them beating Northwestern.
Yeah, so those are my 5 wins. Yeah. I just think they're gonna be a little bit better on offense. I'm not saying I believe in Nico, but if he does happen to click, he's got the talent, and Northwestern just to me, I know Preston Stone, maybe he could surprise, but I just think as far as talent wise, Nico Imaliava is used to playing at a higher level.
Yeah.
And I'm not so sure on Preston Stone. So I have more faith at this time that UCLA could be 5-7 at this point.
Who's he throwing to outside of Quasi Gilmer?
That is a good question.
That's my problem.
But
because like where's the offense? That's
but who's Preston Stone throwing to?
That's Griffin Wilde, and that's it. Yeah, no, you're right. That's going to be a really good game.
It'll be a good game. I think
that'll be a
really
good game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm circling that one. Like, yeah, UCLA Northwestern. That one's going to be really interesting, and the winner of that game, I think, will have the better season of the two for sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, so you got them 5-7. See, 5-7 is probably more where I should have had them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think they're capable of pulling off an upset. That's what I guess I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 15, I've got the Northwestern Wildcats at 4-8, 2-7, with a non-conference loss to Tulane and in-conference losses to Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, USC, Oregon, Penn State. Who's you have at 15?
I mean, I have Northwestern as well, but man, I have, let's see, I have them beating Western Illinois, University of Louisiana Monroe, Purdue. That's it.
Yeah,
I've got 3-9 for Northwestern.
You got Northwestern at 3-9, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Interesting.
I mean, I could see an upset in there, like we talked about with UCLA, maybe going to 4-8. But that's it. I just don't see it happening anywhere else at this time. I don't see them beating USC, Nebraska, Penn State, obviously, Michigan, Illinois, Minnesota. I don't see it at this time. So I've got them at 3-9.
Interesting. So yeah, so you had UCLA higher.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. Just to clarify for people listening, John is higher on UCLA than I am, and with Northwestern. Yeah, dude, I look at Northwestern and I think they're going to be pretty good on defense.
Oh yeah.
Especially on the defensive line and at corner, right?
Sure.
I think those are if you can only pick two places on a defense to be good, I would probably pick defensive line and corner.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to grind some stuff out. I think they're going to have a couple games where, they have a really good coaching staff, I think, especially on defense. I just think they're going to find a way to win a couple games. I think they're going to beat, I think they're going to beat Purdue. And yeah, I think, that's how they get to 4 wins.
Yep. Okay.
Right on. All right. At 14, I've got the Michigan State Spartans at 5-7, 2-7 in conference. So I have them beating Boston College out of conference, but I've got them losing to Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, USC, Nebraska, Penn State, and Iowa.
See, I'm a lot higher on Michigan State, man. And
I'm
not.
Yeah. Okay. Where do you have? What number do you have them at?
I have them at 8-4.
8-4. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I have Michigan State at 8-4. I honestly think, and I'm not just obviously I'm high on Aiden Childs.
Yeah.
I just think there's more talent and really good coaching going on why am I just East Lansing than what people are even aware of. And I think, and it's being talked about. It's just it's not a lot. I think it's a little under the radar. I think Sparty is going to be a really dangerous team. I think
they're going to be dangerous. I think they're going to score points.
Honestly, the only guaranteed losses that I see on here, I shouldn't say guaranteed, but are Penn State, Michigan. I'm picking Indiana over Sparty, although that could be a really good game. And right now, yes, you can call me a homer. I'm picking Minnesota as a win, or I'm torn between Minnesota and Nebraska as a loss, I should say. So losses that I have right now are Penn State. You know what? I take it back. This is the team that I have to rearrange some things. My bad. Losses, let me repeat this one last time. Iowa, Penn State, Michigan, and Indiana. I do think they beat Minnesota. So I think they go
I've
8 and
got them
4.
beating Minnesota also.
So I do think they go 8 and 4.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, that's really interesting. So we have a big difference on Michigan State. That'll be something to watch because I think we had the exact same order up until then, just about.
Yep.
Or close to it anyway. All right. At 13, I have so then who did you have there? Sorry, at 14, if you didn't have Michigan State.
I'm sorry. I didn't write down 1 through.
You didn't write? Okay.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk about it as we go.
Yeah.
All right, cool. At 13, I've got the Rutgers Scarlet Knights at 5-7, 2-7 in the conference. Losses to Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and Washington. So Rutgers, man, I just think, there's all this talk about that in Athan's senior year, they're going to be more of a passing offense and less of, and not have to ride the running game as hard. And I just think when you're completing 53% or of your passes, I don't know if you can have a successful offense that goes through the passing game when your passing game is so inconsistent, like percentage wise. So I think they might try to do that, but ultimately they're going to have to depend on the ground game. And I think the ground game will still be good, but without Kyle Monangai, it's not going to be great. And I just don't think this is a vintage Rutgers defense.
Yeah, I'm with you for the most part. I actually have them going 6-6.
Okay.
It was hard for me to convince myself of that. I think they pull off an upset early against Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's at home. Iowa, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like Iowa has what was a couple years ago, they had a problem with Rutgers for a while. And I just think Schiano might have some good things, going for him, I guess, at that time in the season. And I think they're going to be still working in Gronowski a little bit. Maybe they can scheme some things up. I'm not saying it's a guaranteed win by any means. I just think that's an upset I could see happening. It's at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I have them losing. Yeah, 6. So I can see them going bowling. I have them 6-6 at this time.
I mean, I could see them going bowling for sure. They'd only have to win one more game.
Yeah.
So I could see them pulling an upset somewhere along the line. If I don't think they're going to beat Minnesota because Minnesota has the bye before they play. If I look at Rutgers' schedule, at Washington is potentially winnable. They have a bye before that. They might have a shot at Illinois.
That's yeah.
I could see it if they win one of those, but I'm not going to pick it because I think those teams are better. All right, next up at number 12, I have the Wisconsin Badgers at 5-7, 3-6 with an out-of-conference loss to Alabama and conference losses to Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio State, and Oregon. Boy, if Luke Fickell misses, I know the schedule is the hardest in the country, and I know people are like, actually, there's a couple harder SEC schedules. I don't think so. I think this is the hardest schedule in America this year.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my opinion. It's absolutely brutal. And if you look at the way it breaks down, it's the way they end the season is just crazy. It's legitimately crazy. And, they go Ohio State, or no, they go, okay. At the last 8 games, at Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, at Oregon, Washington, at Indiana, Illinois, at Minnesota. They're not going to be favored in any of those games.
That's insane.
They're not going to be favored in any of those games.
No.
The games that are winnable are on the road. And the games they're not going to win are at home. So it's for the most part. And it's like, yeah, it's going to be real cool hosting Ohio State. Yay. You know?
Dude.
Like it could look, Wisconsin fans, could you get to 6-6? Totally. But like, I'm scared for Wisconsin because like this could also be 4-8.
It could be 3-9.
Like I gave them a win over Iowa.
Yeah.
And like, who do I think's the better team? I was trying to pick some upsets, but I think Iowa's a better team than Wisconsin
right now. Yeah.
So I'm giving them a win that I don't really think they're going to get. And that's to get them to 5-7.
Mm-hmm.
So it's rough, dude. And playing Bama out of conference, brutal.
This was hard. And I'm not in this. Nobody's going to believe me. No Badger fan is going to believe me. But I really genuinely was trying to look at this and trying to find 6 wins. And I can't. And this is, again, this will take multiple upsets to get to 6 wins.
Yeah.
And I think right now, the guaranteed wins I see that I could say with some confidence is Miami of Ohio, Middle Tennessee, and Maryland. Those are the wins that I'm like, yep, Wisconsin's definitely going to win those games.
Yes.
I can see an upset against Iowa. I can see an upset against Washington.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see them winning. They could win at Minnesota.
They could. Yeah.
That's absolutely possible. But I just don't think they're going to win 2 of those 3.
No, I don't think so either.
You know, I think maybe they get 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
And I also think, Wisconsin kind of quit down the stretch last year a little bit.
Yep.
I wonder if they get bogged down, right? If they don't come out hot, if like, let's say they beat Miami of Ohio, but it's uncomfortable. Like it was uncomfortable last year in the out of conference.
Yep.
And they beat Maryland, but it's not like emphatic.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get blasted in the Big House.
Mm-hmm.
You go into that Iowa game, and if you lose that, then you've got Ohio State at Oregon on deck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Wisconsin needs to beat Iowa.
Yeah.
They need to beat Iowa.
Yep.
Bad. And I just don't know if they're gonna. I picked them to do it, and even that only gets them to 5-7.
Yep. I think they're going to miss another bowl game. I really do.
I do too. And it's because of the Alabama series, man.
Yes. Yep. If it wasn't for
the Alabama series, if it wasn't for that, I think it was a bad series to stick a rebuilding coach with. Like, I don't think they did Luke Fickell any favors.
Nope.
Yeah. So let's say that happens and the Badgers go 5-7. Fickell's he's still got to be back. His buyout's too big, but that makes next year that makes it a really long offseason, dude. That makes for a really long offseason.
A really long offseason, and that the AD will have to start looking for other options.
Yes.
And if Fickell doesn't perform right out of the gate
next year,
he's gone. He's gone midseason.
So Fickell has got to. Look. What does PJ always say when we have a hard schedule? It's a schedule full of opportunity. Yeah. Well, Wisconsin, you have that schedule. You go 6-6 or 7-5,
that's huge.
Or I had a friend of the pod, Scooby, thinks they could go 7-5, 8-4. You do that. If you go 7-5, 8-4 against that schedule, like Fickell's, then things are good.
Yeah,
things really good. Are good, like really good in Madtown.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what happens, I just, again, in August right now with who I see on the roster, I don't see it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. All right. At number 11, John, this hurt me. I wanted to rank them higher, but I've still got them. I've got the Indiana Hoosiers. 8-4, 5-4, losses to Illinois, Iowa, Oregon, and Penn State. What'd you have Indiana at?
I was trying to find 9-3, but yeah, I kept coming back to 8-4. Same thing, same exact losses on the schedule.
That's still a really good year.
It is.
That's still a really good year. If that's how it breaks down, like if Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Oregon, Penn State, like those are all respectable losses if you take them. I think Indiana's still going to be. I like Mikhail Kamara, and I think they did some good things on the offensive line, but I do think last year Indiana mostly avoided teams that were tough up front. Other than Michigan, they did get Michigan, who was tough up front.
Yep.
But they kind of schemed Michigan, and by halftime, Michigan kind of adjusted, and it was over. And like Michigan just had so little offense that Indiana was able to take advantage. But I think the Hoosiers in some of these games aren't going to be as good on the line of scrimmage as the team they're playing. I really like their skill players. I think Elijah Surratt is as good as it gets at wide receiver.
Yep.
I think D'Angelo Pons is as good as it gets at cornerback. I think that Aiden Fisher is as good as it gets at linebacker. Mikhail Kamara is a legitimately disruptive, impressive player on the D line. I just don't know if you have enough of those guys up front.
Yeah.
And that's why I got, John, think how far Indiana's come that I'm apologizing for saying they're going to go 8-4.
Yeah. Within one season.
I'm like Indiana fans, don't be too mad that I only have you going 8-4. One season removed from 3 straight, 3-9 or whatever.
And I hope that they realize that it's this is not meant to be an insult. 8-4 is a really good season.
It's still a winning record in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
In a season when you have to play both Oregon and Penn State.
And Illinois.
Which
is on the upswing. Not that they couldn't win that game, but yeah.
They could have easily. Dude, I'm telling you, the winner of Indiana, Illinois is going to have an awesome season.
Yep.
And the loser is just going to be a little frustrated at the end of the year because they're going to look back at that game as a swing game on the schedule. So that's my game of all September in conference for sure is Indiana, Illinois. I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, I've got also at 8-4 and 5-4, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Losses to Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, and Penn State.
Exact same thing. Yep.
You pick the same things?
Yep.
Yeah. And look, I know Nebraska fans think they're going to roll into Dinkytown and get it done, but like it's on a short week. And let's be real. PJ really likes playing Nebraska. He likes it. He relishes it, man. And I think that comes out in the way his teams play against the Cornhuskers most of the time. I think that one, I think it comes down to the thing that stops Nebraska Nebraska will be very good.
Yep.
What's going to stop them from being great is the running game. I think it's, can you run the ball? Can you stop the run? And I think they're not going to run the ball very well because I think that their offensive line is average and their running backs are below average. And I also think that, up front on defense, I don't think they're going to be as reliable as they might be better at rushing the passer than they were last year.
Yeah,
actually, but I don't think they're going to be as good as stopping the run.
I agree.
I think if either of those things happen, if either the running game is better than I think, or the defensive rushing, the rush defense is better than I think, then yeah, Nebraska could win 9-10 games.
Yep.
But I got to see it. I'm not
convinced. Yeah.
I got to see it.
Well, it's the same thing we talk about Nebraska every year is like, we got to see it, to believe it. And I do think, again, Matt Rule, I think is a guy that could get them there. But until I see that on the field, I'm just not going to believe it. But 8-4, incredible year for Nebraska.
Yeah.
From where they've been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I think the swing game is in the schedule that gets them to 8-4 or doesn't? Sparty.
Yep.
They host Sparty coming off a bye. I have Nebraska winning that game. But if they lose that game, all bets are off.
Yep.
So I think if I'm a Nebraska fan, I got that one circled because you're going to probably beat, Cincinnati. You also but you probably beat Cincinnati. You're going to beat Akron. You're going to beat Houston Christian. You're probably losing to Michigan. And then it's, can you beat Sparty? Because then you're going to win at Maryland. And it's how much momentum are you going to have when you roll into Minnesota to play the Gophers on a short week on a Friday night? And that being on a short week, I think is going to impact. I think that you'll have fewer Huskers fans there. You know?
Yeah.
Yep. That's usually what happens on a short week, is that the visitors don't get as many people there because people can't get off work in time to get there. So I think that's possible that that's what we see. And that'll just juice an already good home crowd that Minnesota always has, especially for big games. And yeah, I think those are the swing games. Yeah. Sparty and Minnesota.
That's where I'm at.
And I've got Nebraska splitting those, but if they win them both, look out, world. Here comes Dylan Raiola, All right. Next up, I have also at 8-4, 5-4, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. With losses to Iowa, Ohio State, Oregon, and Sparty. I think Minnesota's a better team than Sparty, John, but I think getting them when we do in the schedule is not good, because it comes after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight weeks without a bye. Minnesota's going to be banged up.
Yeah.
They're going to be coming off an emotional game in Kinnick against the Hawkeyes. I think that one has upset special written all over it. So I hope I'm wrong, and I could be. And PJ, if you're out there, I know you're thinking the same thing I am, and you got it. You have those boys ready. But that's where I'm at with it. I think Minnesota, I think that's the one when Minnesota looks back at the end of the year, I think that's the one they look at and say, we let that one get away. We should have won that game.
Well, since the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers do not have a single media personality who hypes this team up.
Yeah.
Or, unless they speak of it highly, but there's always a caveat of like, but this is going to be this, that, or the other. I don't know if we're going to be able to cover them. I don't know if we're going to be able to run the ball. You know who I'm talking about.
Billy Edwards might be the best quarterback we've ever seen.
Yep.
Eeyore. Yep. We just call him Eeyore. We're not going to say his name, but we just call him Eeyore.
Yeah.
So Eeyore is not that high on the Gophers. So you're saying since he's not going to hype them up, you're gonna?
Then I'm saying we're going 12-0 and we're winning a natty, baby.
Yeah!
That's the way it is. That's it. Nobody's stopping us.
Boom.
I'm taking this from the Nebraska hype train model. You guys are doing it right. I love it. You got a bajillion freaking people out there who say this every year. And honestly, I'm jealous. I wish we had just one, who had some kind of voice out there that could speak this way about the Golden Gophers and be delusional in that way, because you need a guy like that. You do.
Yeah, you need a hype man. It's like at a hip hop show, you need a hype man.
Yeah, and Nebraska's got a, even though it can be annoying sometimes, or you're like, oh my God, here we go again. You know what though? I got to give you props. I really do. Like, there's a part of me that is jealous of some of that. So, yep, 12-0. No notes. That's it. That's all I got. Moving on.
It. Love it. Yes.
All right. No. 8-4. 8-4. I think you and I see this the same way. I think this is going to be a better squad than what most people are thinking. I see potential. I don't think 9-3 is crazy by any means, and a lot of people think it is. A lot of people think 8-4 is nuts, seemingly as well as Eeyore.
I mean, the Vegas total went up to 7.5. It started at 6.5, but it went up to 7.5. So that shows that there's a little more respect at least.
Well, Eeyore thinks we're going 7-5. So
I know he does.
But I think 8-4 is a solid place to put Minnesota right now. I think that is very, very, very doable. So that's where I have it. Yep. And Michigan State, too. Absolutely same thing. I think, again, I do think Sparty's going to be better than what people are expecting, and I think it just doesn't line up well in the schedule for Minnesota.
Yeah. But that said, let's say Minnesota beats Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Then 10-2 is on the table.
It is.
It's on the table. And you might have so much momentum at that point that you roll at Sparty.
Could be.
You know? So
Yeah.
that's also a possible. Like, I'm not saying that's going to happen.
Yeah.
My official prediction, 8-4, 5-4. That's my prediction for Minnesota this year. But I'm just saying there's a possibility that Minnesota has a special season. Just like there's a possibility that Nebraska has a special season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Iowa could have a special season.
Iowa could, for sure.
Yep.
Illinois. I mean, I think we've talked about Illinois and Indiana.
Yeah.
They could have special seasons for sure. So there's a lot of teams that have a lot on the line.
Yeah, but if we beat Iowa and lose to Sparty the next, I don't care. I'm fine with that. I mean, for the most part.
But the thing is, I just don't think we will, because it's not. If this were Glenn Mason, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's what's gonna happen. But PJ actually can. Like, I know PJ says he doesn't believe in momentum, but his teams seem to.
They sure do.
You know what I mean?
So do the fans. I think
so do the fans.
We've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. For real. That's funny. All right.
Yeah.
Next up, I've got at number 7, 8-4, 6-3 though, with losses out of conference to Notre Dame, in conference to Illinois, Nebraska, and Oregon. I have the USC Trojans. 8-4, 6-3. I think that Notre Dame game is a little bit of an albatross for them. I don't think that sets up well for them at all. And I don't like the matchup in the trenches there. So, yeah. And I don't know, man. I just think Illinois is ready this year, man. I think Luke Altmaier's ready. I think they're ready for a challenge of playing a team like USC.
Yeah.
And I think at Nebraska is tough too, dude.
I've got that as a loss for USC.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also, right now, yes, I have them at 8-4, but 7-5 is definitely on the table because Iowa could possibly upset them at home.
Oh, absolutely.
I just don't think USC understands fully, what it's like to be Iowa, and it is possible. I could see that, especially at November 15th. I know that it's in Southern California, but
yeah.
Iowa tends to always play better towards the end of the season, man. They just do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
no,
8-4.
Kirk's teams get better. For sure they do.
Yeah.
All right. Moving right along at 9-3, my first 9-win team, 6-3 in the Big Ten. I've got the Iowa Hawkeyes with losses to Penn State, Oregon, and USC. What do you have for Iowa? I'm super curious.
Yeah, I've got Iowa. I actually have Iowa at 8-4.
Okay.
I see, Penn State, Oregon, and I think they will beat Nebraska this year. But I think where did I have the other loss here? I think they lose to Iowa State.
Okay, you think they lose to Iowa State? Interesting.
And I think they. And oh no.
I mean, that's enough to get you if you have the same loss as I do.
Yeah.
That's enough to get you there if you just add the Iowa State loss.
That's kind of where
I've got them beating the Cyclones because the Cyclones lost. Well, they lost their best receivers, both of them.
True.
And I just think Kirk Ferentz, like, the best thing to be able to beat him is to create explosive plays in the passing game. That's how you beat the Hawkeyes generally. I don't think, I think that Iowa State has a good quarterback, but like, if you don't have those NFL receivers to throw to, I think he's like, you know what Rocco Becht reminds me of, man?
Ooh.
Tanner Morgan.
Okay.
In the sense that I just don't think he's going to be the same guy without, like, just Tanner was not the same without Tyler Johnson and Rashad Bateman.
Sure.
I just don't think Rocco Becht is going to be the same without those guys.
All right. Well, I mean, look, I
could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not a Big 12 expert.
Look, I think 9-3 is incredibly possible. I mean, I'm right now feeling more Iowa State, but I think,
I hope you're right, because I always want to see Iowa lose. I hope the Cyclones win. I always cheer. Man, when Iowa State beat them on that kick last year,
yeah,
great stuff. I was actually, the last time before that they lost to the Cyclones, I think it was 2022 or 3 maybe. I was actually at a bar in North Loop in Minneapolis that a friend of the pod, Natalie, goes to or used to go to. and it turns into an Iowa bar on Iowa game days. And so I was there. I had just come from a Gopher win and was in all my Gopher gear. Watched them lose to the Cyclones, and it was glorious. It was glorious. I was laughing. I was looking at guys. They were getting all mad. I wasn't even talking shit. I wasn't. I was just smirking and wearing Gopher gear. And that was enough for everybody.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the Hawkeyes are going to be really good this year.
Yeah.
And I do think Iowa's going to beat Minnesota head-to-head, which kills me to say that. So I hope I'm wrong. The last time Minnesota went to Kinnick, they won. So I will have hopes, but I'm not picking them to win that game as of now. I think Mark Gronowski is really good. More importantly, I think Iowa has a special offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And when Kirk Ferentz has an offensive line that can really run block, because Kirk Ferentz puts a lot of individual offensive linemen in the NFL, and he has a lot of good pass blocking lines. He doesn't always have great run blocking lines, but they were last year, and I think this year they're going to be even better.
Yeah.
So I think the loss of Caleb Johnson is not going to hurt them as much as I wish it would.
I mean, I think it's going to hurt them because like Caleb Johnson was just on his own level. But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to
Kamari Moulton's not bad either.
No, but he's not Caleb Johnson, man.
Nobody's Caleb Johnson.
Yeah.
Caleb Johnson was the best Iowa running back since Sean Green.
Yep.
Full stop.
Yep.
So like, yeah, but I still think Iowa's going to be nasty. I think Iowa's going to be, they're going to be tough this year. They're going to be tough like they always are until bowl season when they just suck for some reason.
Like you had to drop it to 10. You had to lose to Tennessee last year.
I know.
Like, come on. Or was it? Yeah, it was Tennessee.
No, not Tennessee.
Oh,
Tennessee was in the playoff.
Wait, who'd they play?
Was it Mizzou?
Yeah, maybe it was Mizzou. No,
was it Mizzou or was that the year before?
Tennessee was, I think, the year before.
Okay, so it was. I think then it was Mizzou.
Yeah, but like
I think that was the only Big Ten loss to an SEC team. It was Mizzou. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, and come on, man.
I know, dude. And Iowa was up in that game too, so it's even worse because Iowa usually is good at holding leads when they have multiple possession leads.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Anyway, Iowa's 9-3, going to be solid in my opinion. All right, next up, I've got the Michigan, number 5 in the Big Ten, so we're in the top 5 now. I've got the Michigan Wolverines at 9-3, 7-2, with an out-of-conference loss to Oklahoma, in-conference losses to USC and Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Michigan is going to bully people this year, man. I think that run game is already so good, and having a running quarterback back there is going to be like, I think Michigan's going to run for 300 yards on like a regular basis.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to get to expect it. And I think Bryce Underwood himself is going to have like 80 to 100 yards rushing every game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just think that they're not going to want to throw the ball too much because their receivers aren't that good. And also Bryce is a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Sharon Moore. And what does Sharon Moore want to do? He wants to effing pound you.
Yep.
Big Ten style. So I think Michigan is going to grind. I think a lot of their games are going to be close. I think they're going to grind people into powder this year up front, both sides of the ball.
Yeah. I've also got them at 9-3, but that third loss, I'm torn between whether it's going to be USC or Michigan State. I think Sparty's going to give him a hard time this year.
You think Sparty's ready for him, huh?
Dude, I think it's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think it's going to.
Man, you're high on Michigan State.
I am,
you and your Aiden Childs crush.
I am. I really am. I mean, Nick Marsh too. He's not.
Yeah, Nick Marsh is legit.
Yeah,
legit.
So
Aiden Childs, the jury's still out.
Yes. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those. I don't know which one. It's just going to be split between USC and Michigan State. But yeah, I think they definitely lose 3. But that's it.
And then at number 4 in the Big Ten, I've got the Illinois Illini at 10-2, 7-2 in the Big Ten with losses to Ohio State and Washington.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I have Ohio State.
Yeah, man, if Illinois makes the playoff before we do, I'm going to be so salty about it. I'm going to be so angry about it if I'm right about this. Like, prove me wrong, Illini. Prove me wrong. Because I just think you can't miss this year. And if you do, I'm going to be grateful because I'm worried that you're going to the playoff.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
That's and that spoiler alert, I think the Big Ten gets 4 teams in the playoff, including Illinois.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. All right. At number 3, and here's John, where I think another team where I maybe gave them too much credit. I have the Oregon Ducks at 11-1, 8-1 in conference with a loss to Penn State. And I feel like Oregon's going to lose another game. I feel like they're going to lose 2 games, but I don't know to whom. I don't know.
At Iowa?
Could be. Home to Minnesota?
I see.
At Iowa is dangerous, though. That's a dangerous game.
And that's where I'm at, too. Like, Oregon is going to be a really good team, but
really good.
I have a feeling that they will get Iowa. I have a feeling, so that's why I have them at 10-2, losing to Penn State and to Iowa.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could see it. I could see that for sure. At Washington, also a losable game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I think especially with Washington isn't going to need to throw the ball to move the ball.
Yeah.
So like Dante Moore is going to have to be legit.
Mm-hmm.
Or else it's going to be Austin Novosad by then,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, also going back, I forgot to say Rutgers, your defensive coordinator is not capable of being a defensive coordinator. He shouldn't even be a football coach.
Yeah.
So I also think that's going to hurt you.
That's true.
And until Shianu replaces him, I think that's going to hurt you. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I see it.
Did we skip Washington, by the way?
We totally did.
Okay.
My bad. All right. Going back to my number 9, so in a big tie, I had Washington 8-4, 5-4 in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So I have them in that group with losses to Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, and Wisconsin. My bad, Huskies.
Yeah.
Where do you have them?
8-4 to 9-3. I mean, I'm torn with this one. I have losses to Ohio State, Michigan, Illinois, and Oregon is where I'm at right now. But I could see Washington pull off a win either against Illinois or Oregon. So that's where I'm a little torn on which way I want to go.
Well, yeah, and to get them to 8-4, I had to have them lose to Wisconsin because I just thought Wisconsin's going to upset somebody, and they get Washington at home after a bye in November. So I just think that if Wisconsin's still playing hard, I think they're going to get somebody. I think Washington could be that team. But I'm with you. 8-4, 9-3. I mean, the Huskies, what did you say, John? High highs and low lows.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we're seeing, potentially, a big rise. And I think Damon Williams is special, and they still have Jonah Coleman and Denzel Boston. Like, as long as those guys are healthy, Washington's going to be tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick 8-4 right now, but
9-3
wouldn't surprise me in the least. It wouldn't blow me away.
All right, back up to so I had just to remind everybody. So I got Washington at 9, Minnesota 8, USC 7, Iowa 6, Michigan 5, Illinois 4, Oregon 3, and at number 2, I have the Penn State Nittany Lions at 11-1, 8-1 in the conference with their sole loss to Ohio State. And I further predict, Nittany Lions fans, before you get upset, I predict that in the rematch for the Big Ten title, that Penn State wins. Penn State loses in Columbus in the regular season because it's a regular season game, and winning in Columbus is really, really hard. But I do think that Penn State is this much better than Ohio State. So I think that even though they lose in November, I think when they play the rematch in Indy on a neutral field, and I say it's a neutral field, but John, here's the thing. Ohio State fans have been to so many Big Ten title games that I just think, I know Penn State was just there last year, but I just think Penn State will have more fans.
Yeah.
at the Big Ten title game. It'll be 60-40, like not like way more fans, but I think they'll have enough more. I like Penn State a lot. I've got them winning the national title. I have them winning the Big Ten as well. I have them winning the Big Ten title as well. But I've got the Ohio State Buckeyes going 12-0, 9-0, winning the Big Ten, going undefeated, and then losing the title game. Where do you have Penn State and Ohio State?
God,
and who do you have in your title game?
I'm so torn, man. Like this was really hard because I have written down Penn State 12-0 and Ohio State 11-1, where Penn State finally beats Ohio State in the horseshoe,
right? Which
is possible, but
absolutely possible.
But then I don't know who I would pick then in the Big Ten title game. Like that's then I would probably pick whoever.
After a close game. I like the loser in a rematch.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. I don't know what to pick. It could go either way for me. It could be Ohio State 12-0. It could be Penn State 12-0. And I think whoever loses that game is going to win in the Big Ten rematch. And I think, the national title will be whoever wins the Big Ten rematch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It could be Ohio State repeating, or it could be Penn State winning for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't really know who to pick. Right now, I have Penn State 12-0 and I have Ohio State 11-1, but I don't feel any kind of confidence on any of that whatsoever.
Yeah.
So either way, they're both going to the playoff and they're both going to be top.
Yeah, they're both going to be top. They're both of these teams I predict will make the semifinals or better.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have Ohio State, and that's another prediction I have. So now let's get into our non-specific team predictions, which we also have a handful of those. Mm-hmm. One of mine is that the Big Ten will have 2 teams that make the semifinals and 1 team win the national championship. Mm-hmm. And I've got Ohio State and Penn State in the semis, or not against each other, but just that they both make it. And then I think Penn State wins the national title. Yeah. What if the national title is Penn State versus Ohio State? Because that could happen too.
That would be wild. I would love that. I feel like it's going to be Texas and Penn State. That's what I see.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that 2 Big Ten teams are going to make it into the semifinals. I think it's going to be pretty much every year, something like that.
And for what it's worth, we didn't talk about it, but yeah, I obviously have Ohio State beating Texas in the opener. One does not simply walk into the shoe and win. Mm-hmm. And I know Paul Feinbaum's like, well, Julian Sayen's a redshirt freshman. Okay, well, Arch Manning's a redshirt sophomore who's played 2 games against Toledo and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And Mississippi State wasn't even a power conference level team last year. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I just don't think he's that much more experienced than Julian Sayen. And he's about to have 110,000 people in scarlet and gray screaming at him for 4 quarters.
Yep.
There's no way to prepare for that.
No.
Standing on the sidelines doesn't prepare you for that. And do I think he's going to do well? Yeah, I think he'll do fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to dominate or anything. And I think ultimately Julian Sayen is going to play a little better.
Mm-hmm. Well, my, I guess, kind of out of the box theory on what's going to happen this season is Brett Bielema will be responsible, maybe not directly immediately that day, but Brett Bielema will be responsible for getting another Wisconsin coach fired.
Interesting. So you think that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back?
I think it's
Wisconsin losing to Illinois. I believe that game's in November, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's November 22nd at Camp. Oh yeah, because here's the thing: if they're at 5 wins, then that could, I could see it. If they're at 4, they're at 4 wins. God forbid. That could be the game that seals them out of a bowl game.
I think if in that game, if Luke Fickell is down by 2 scores at the end of the first half, Barry Alvarez will jump onto the field, tell Luke Fickell to go back into the locker room, and he's going to coach.
And he's going to lead the troops.
Yeah. Because
Barry returns.
You know Barry Alvarez will just be losing his damn mind wherever he's sitting and watching that game. Like, because he, I think Brett Bielema will have that shit-eating grin on his face, just loving every second of it.
Oh yeah. And of course he'll enjoy it. The Schadenfreude is delicious. It'll be delicious for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about I lost my train of thought. Let's see. Brett Bielema, Wisconsin. Say something else.
Barry Alvarez jumping down on the field, coaching.
Oh yeah. Would they bring him back as the interim again if Fickell gets fired eventually?
I mean, I feel like he has the ability to appoint himself as that. I know he's not the AD anymore, but I feel like he still does everything behind the scenes.
Thought of what I was going to say. Yeah. Bud Elliott made a point that I've been making, but since he repeated it, maybe people will take me more seriously. Wisconsin spent almost 3 years recruiting to Phil Longo's spread attack.
Yeah.
They've now spent like just this one offseason recruiting to being a power running team again.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going to go on offense? Do they have all the pieces to run that system now that they've been recruiting to a different system? Because remember, that's what doomed Tim Brewster. Tim Brewster had like a decent spread offense and was like, our red zone percentage was bad. Let's abandon that and run the ball. And then he didn't have the personnel to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he got crushed trying to. And I just wonder, like, I think it's the right thing for Wisconsin to go back to like power football. But do they have the guys to do it? And that's what worries me about Wisconsin this year. And maybe they do. Maybe they portaled all the right guys and it's fine. Maybe, but I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see how that all goes this year. And is Wisconsin finally going to have a decent defense?
Yeah.
It's year 3 under Mike Tressel. Like, shouldn't they be really good?
You think? Yeah.
They were really good every year under Jim Leonard, you know?
Yep. Do you have another one or do I
other predictions? Oh yeah. I think Cignetti is going to take a personal shot at somebody this year, at a coach, like an opposing head coach.
Okay.
I don't know who, I don't know about what, but I think somebody's going to run their mouth and say something and Cignetti's going to pounce on it and be like, how dare you talk to Curt Cignetti, me, like that, and be like, all I do is blank. And it's like whether it's, last time it was all I do is beat top 25 teams. This could be anything, but I think Curt Cignetti takes a personal shot at an opposing coach at some point this year in a press conference.
Sure. Okay. Well, I have one that
perhaps out of frustration.
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? It could be something not even related to football. Like, who knows what's going to come out of this. Yeah.
That's the thing.
I have one that you're not going to like.
Okay.
And neither of us are going to like this.
Okay.
I think because we know the Iowa fan base has not let go of what happened the last time we played in Kinnick.
Yeah.
I think Kirk Ferentz will repeat taking
the 3
all the
timeouts.
Yep.
I swear to God.
Troll PJ and troll all of our fans, and he's gonna have that.
I'm gonna be there.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's gonna have that. He's gonna be chewing on his gum, just like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
he's
look.
So petty. He's such a small person. He's so small.
I think when because I am predicting Minnesota to lose that game.
Yeah, me too.
I think he just like drives that point home because I'm sure he feels like he got screwed. And just like, and the Iowa fan base is going to eat it up. And I'm sorry you're going to be there because you're going to get, the heckling is going to be unbearable. I feel so.
It really is, dude. If that happens, it might be a thing. We don't really leave games early, but that might be it's time to go moment.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to the game, so I still have like a 45% hope that we win that game.
Yeah. It's not impossible, but I
think we win the turnover battle. We win.
Yeah.
I think that's with Iowa. It's turnovers and explosive plays.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should have more explosive plays than they do.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, do we also win the turnover battle? I think if we do, we win.
Yeah.
And we have guys, we have playmakers on defense to force turnovers.
Yep.
So I think we have a chance. I think we have a real chance. I'm just not going to predict a win here in August.
And something we do have this time, supposedly, that we didn't have last time, is we have an actual punter that can flip the field.
Actual punter.
Now,
John, it's been since Pete Mortel.
Yes. Now, do we have a field goal kicker, though? That's the question. So
we might be better off with that one.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But PJ would go for it more.
Oh, yeah. Which is what we wanted him to do. But yeah.
I don't know, man. He said, PJ said recently that he thinks it's going to be one of the best special teams he's had, which could be damning with faint praise, but also I think he's confident.
Yeah, I think
he likes Brady Denneberg, and he said Daniel Jackson had a really good camp, and I saw that when I was at practice. Mm-hmm. Both of them did really well. So I think Minnesota will be average kicking.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably good enough for most games. But if they're any better than average, because I do think we're going to be better than average punting wise.
Yeah,
and I think the return game is going to be good because. Coy might be letting Logan Loya take over some punt returns.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with that because Logan Loya knows what he's doing, and he's got juice too. You know.
Yep.
And if he really is playing offense, then he probably shouldn't be playing all the special teams too. Oh well, John is having some technical difficulties for a minute, but that's okay. So, yeah, that is kind of how we see the Big Ten breaking down. Oh, he's back. There you are.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I don't know what happened. Just cut out.
I think that Paul Feinbaum will not leave the country. He says he's going to leave the country if the Big Ten wins another title. I think the Big Ten wins a title, and he doesn't leave the country, even though we all want him to. So I predict that's going to happen.
I agree, but it's going to be so amazing to go on Twitter and watch people troll him for the entire year and then some when this happens.
And in every interview he gives.
Oh yeah, and he'll backpedal on it or whatever and play it off some kind of way, but I can't wait. That'll be hilarious. No, of course he's not going to leave the freaking country. No.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. I predict that Kirk Ferentz is going to sign a contract extension
with the Devil. Is that what he's? Yeah, a life extension with the Devil. You mean? That's what he's going to do.
Yeah,
he's going to live forever.
That's what dude. I know this is another one. You think he's retiring in a year or two? I think Kirk Ferentz is going to be there in 15 years, like Bill Snyder in his mid-80s, still doing it. So that's another one of my predictions. I think that the Ferentz retirement talk is way premature and that Kirk is going to make it clear that he's going to be coaching for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other predictions? I guess other ones in coaching stuff. I think Mike Locksley and David Braun both get fired.
Yeah.
At Maryland and Northwestern respectively.
No, I agree. I'm trying to think of a surprise team this year that nobody's thinking about. Obviously, I'm picking Sparty to do a lot better, but I don't want to qualify them. They're not Indiana level. You know what I mean?
No, because they're not going to the playoff.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know who could possibly rise up. If I had to pick someone, obviously our options are Northwestern, Purdue, UCLA, Maryland, and who else could be amongst the team that all of a sudden surprises everybody.
I mean, I feel like it's not any of those teams. I feel like if someone surprises, it's going to be Washington or Iowa or Minnesota.
Well, I'm talking about coming from the bottom, expectations
are bottom and jumping up.
Yeah.
Rutgers, if Athan can do it.
Yeah.
What if Athan can do it?
Yeah.
What if Athan suddenly is completing 60% of his passes and we know he's got a nice deep ball and you know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go.
Then Rutgers is a totally different team.
Yep.
So I think if Athan is better than I think he is, then yeah, man, Rutgers could win 8 games, 9 games.
That's an excellent pick. Okay, because I was just trying to think. I'm who would we say could be if we had to pick a team that was came from zero expectations, or little to no expectations to like all of a sudden making it to the college football playoff. And I think, yeah, Rutgers is a solid.
I think it's Rutgers. I think that's as close as it gets.
I think you're right.
I mean, and here's the other thing. And I guess Sparty, if Aiden Childs is better than you even think he is, you know what I mean? If Aiden Childs is suddenly the best quarterback in the conference and he's got Nick Marsh and another guy or two, then maybe Sparty is that team.
Yeah. But I still think the expectations for Sparty are higher than what we had for Indiana prior to last year.
Oh, for sure, man. No one had any.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I had Indiana at 7-5 and people were acting like I had 3 heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
For being that optimistic. And I was like, I don't know. I like these transfer portal pieces. And like, I didn't know they were 11 wins good, but I knew they were pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
And I just didn't know that Curtis Rourke was just going to be an assassin.
Yeah. Imagine if he was healthy. Like,
oh my God.
They could have done.
But would he have been? Because sometimes guys play better when they're a little hurt.
True.
Mitch Leidner always did.
Yeah, that's true.
Leidner was way better when he was like kind of banged up. He just like stopped thinking as much and would just throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Now we're talking about 12-year-old Gopher quarterbacks. So
time to wrap up. Yeah.
I think it's time to wrap up. The other thing, Hassan Longstreet at USC gets benched ends up playing. Yeah. Ends up playing because Jaden Mayava gets benched. Yep. So that's the other thing I will say. And also, I think that Nebraska's new defensive coordinator gets thrown under the bus. I think by like mid-October, everyone's like, rah, rah, rah. He's garbage. He's holding us back. I think it's that kind of thing. I could see it. Yeah. I see the Mayava Longstreet thing more than I see that. Yeah. But it's possible. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Here's a bunch of predictions. Some of them are going to happen. Some of them are going to be way off. Let us know what you think. Yes, absolutely. John, anything else you want to say before we get out of here? As always, you want to find We Live for Saturday, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Podcast Addict. You can Twitter us. You can tweet at us. Find us on Twitter at We Live for B1GSAT. You can find Mike at Alibaba26. You can find me, John, at Norwegian Gopher. You can also email us, We Live for Saturday, B1G@gmail.com. Please like, follow, retweet, tweet, all that good stuff. Really appreciate it, especially here on YouTube. Yes, please follow us on YouTube or subscribe to us on YouTube. That really helps out a lot. So thank you all for this. Hey, the next podcast is going to be on Monday or Sunday or Monday. We'll figure it out. And we are going to be previewing week 1 actual Big Ten football, John. Wild. Our long national nightmare is over. The season has returned. So get excited, everybody. The next pod out of us is going to be a preview of week 1. Let's play ball. All right. See you guys in the next one.